Hello, and thank you so much for serving on this Sunday, November 10th, 2024. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of what to expect this Sunday, and I'm going to start with some general knowledge things, and that is that on the dry erase board in every classroom, this schedule is posted. There are two different versions of the schedule. One is our normal class schedule, and the other is the slightly modified memory verse Sunday schedule. Basically, everything falls in the same order with the exception of you will go ahead and begin some of your activities a little bit earlier until you are called into the sanctuary. And they are always dated. So since you are serving on November 10th, you're going to look on this schedule for this week. You're going to start with Belong right at 10 o'clock. That ends at 10:10 to walk to the large group classroom. Large group lesson starts at 10:15 and wraps up at 10:48, and that's when you should be walking back to your classrooms. At 10:50, you'll start your Believe activity. At 11 o'clock, your Become activity. 11:10 is small group wrap up, and 11:15 is discipleship discussion. You will also see that the servant checklist is on the board to help kind of guide you as you are doing things. One of the things on here that is very important, that is very, very helpful to me, is to make sure that you're putting away your materials when you're done. So if it's paper, like if it is lesson plans or copies that are specific to this week, just throw those in the garbage. If it is a material, return it to the cabinets that are in the alcove of the second, third grade classroom. They are lots of areas that are labeled. If you're unsure, just lay it in front of the cabinet and I can put it away later in the week. One other thing that is new for this month is we are asking you to wipe off the dry erase board when you leave. Most all classrooms come with Windex or dry erase board spray. Just spray it down, wipe it off. The kids would probably actually love to do that. Don't touch the schedule stuff, but everything else does need to be wiped down. So now I'm going to start with what we're doing in small groups this week. I'm going to start with kindergarten and first grade and second and third grade. So if you are teaching those small groups, this is for you. And then if you are not teaching that small group, if you're in fourth and fifth grade, then you can feel free to skip ahead to your part, which will be coming up after this. So beginning with kindergarten and first grade. So our story, I started including the cover sheet, which just tells you what our story is for this week. This gets covered during large group, but it is good to know it because it is what our activities are based on. So this week we will be doing Elijah. Part of his story in 1 Kings chapter 17. And so it's got all of the basics of the he, we, me question, the memory verse for the month, the bright idea for the month. Well, it's for this week. It changes a little bit. It's God is faithful is the bright idea for the entire month. And each week they kind of modify it depending on the story. So Elijah is our story. And then we have our lesson plan. So for our lesson plan, the timing is on there. It is color coded as always. And then you can also see the title of each of those lessons. So Belong is blue, Bring the Bread. So that is here. I actually don't have this yet, but I'll be buying it tonight and putting it on your cart. You're going to have bread. It won't be baguettes. It will just be regular bread cut into cubes. You'll have tongs. You will have baskets. There'll be plastic bins. And you don't need a knife for the painter's tape. That's just to prep the bread, and I will already have that prepped for you. So for this lesson, you're going to be doing these things so you can see the scripted part here to look through that or to look at the electronic copy. Then you'll be going to large group, but when you return from large group at 10:50, you're going to be doing roll and recite for your Believe activity. So you just need a die for that. So that is already in there, the die that you would need for that. And you can see the scripted parts in here for you, where they're going to be digging into their Bibles. This is a very important part of the lesson to make sure that they are looking in their Bibles every week to look at their memory verse or to look at the story that we are learning this week. Following that, we have our Become activity, which is water prayers. So you have a bucket of water. Please do be cautious with it. If you don't feel comfortable doing it in here, as long as it's not too cold outside, you can always take them outside and have them try and lift it. An adult can lift it, but hopefully a kindergarten first grader will have a difficult time lifting it. The point is for it to be impossible or difficult for them to do it. And so you can read through the script here for that. And then you have your wrap up and your discipleship discussion. We talk about this each week, but there is an actual time in the lesson for them at the end to do this. But I know time can run short. So as long as you have looked through this before Sunday, you should hopefully be able to kind of integrate this within the other activities to make the time for them, because it is very important. They're going to answer the me question that was set during large group. This is looking at their take-home sheet and choosing a challenge for the week. Praying and saying goodbye will actually come very last, but then the discipleship discussion, which is kind of how this week's story from the Bible relates to our world today. And so, what does the story mean for followers of Jesus? But what about money issues? So that's great discussion topics to have with the kids. If you're doing the other activities and you're not talking about that specific activity, you can bring up these things during that time to do that. So that is it for kindergarten and first grade and second and third grade small group. So if you are not teaching large group or fourth and fifth grade, you can stop watching the video now. And now I'm going to go through our fourth and fifth grade small group lesson. All right, fourth and fifth graders, first and foremost, please do remind them that they have this coming up very soon on Friday, November 15th. I have not heard back from everyone yet, so encourage them to talk to their parents and to RSVP if they're going to be able to make it to this event. There are reminder papers about it in here with their take-home sheets, so you can send it home with anyone who desires to take one if they have not RSVP'd yet, or if they're just unsure. So if you did not, well, I'm going to go through all the pieces just in case if you skipped over the other small group. So I am including the cover page now because it does have very important information. So on here you see the story of the week is Elijah. That is covered mainly during large group Bible teaching, but all of our other activities kind of are centered around this. So, but this kind of lets you know what is going to be taught during large group. It's got our monthly memory verse, has our bright idea. Our bright idea does shift a little bit every week during the month. The overarching bright idea for November is God is faithful. This week is God faithfully provides for us, and it shares with you the he, we, me questions that are set during large group. The he and the we are answered during large group, but the me is answered in small group. So for your specific lesson, everything is color-coded and titled and all of that within there. So your belong activity can't live without. It says to use index cards. I did quarter sheets of paper. So that is in there in your material bin in the belong drawer. You can pull that out and see the quarter sheets of paper. They're going to need things to write with. They just use these bins that are down here and grab something to write with. And that is done between 10 and 10:10. Then if you go upstairs, so before I move into this, you're supposed to be starting at 10:50. We want to give you guys as much time as possible before you have to come back downstairs. So what I would recommend, and what I'm going to tell our large group teachers, our new way of doing the memory verse part at the end is they're going to recite it quickly, and then before the song starts, fourth and fifth graders will be dismissed. It should buy you an extra 2 or 3 minutes to start getting upstairs so that you will have more time together. You do not need to come back downstairs until 11:20. If service lets out early, someone will let you know to come back on downstairs, but parents know that their kids are not available to be picked up until after communion, not during communion, but after that final song. So take that time. You guys need that time as a small group. This is a really important age to bond and spend time together. So take that time, leave early from large group before that memory verse song starts, and then stay upstairs until 11:20 at least. So for your first thing that you're going to do, your believe activity from 10 to 10:10, you needed ping pong balls and straws. I have already written the memory verse. It's 19 words. The 20th ball is the Psalm 117:2 reference. And so they're going to be using those straws and balls to do this game. You can see this on the electronic copy that is on Planning Center, or you can always pause this and try and read it. I don't know that it'll be very clear, but you can try. And then you're going to go to large group. And then when you are done with large group and you're back together as a small group, you're going to do the needs and wants charades. The printable page is inside both of these are upstairs. I'm not sure if I think I might have said that wrong, but both of those believe and become are going to be upstairs. So you'll need to carry these materials in your yellow bag upstairs with you. The printable pages have already been cut out and put in a paper bag. You can follow the script on there for how this activity goes. And then these last two are wrap up and discipleship discussion. These are on the lesson plan timed out at 11:10 to 11:15 and 11:15 to 11:20. But they can be incorporated during the activity if you feel like you're looking for something to talk about to direct the discussion. These are great things to do. The me, answering that me question that was set during large group, choosing a challenge off of their take-home sheet, praying and saying goodbye have to be at the very end, obviously. But then the discipleship discussion, especially, this can kind of guide how you are talking with the kids this week. How does the story of Elijah, how can I know this is true about Elijah? And then what about money issues? This is very important issues in our world today, just as true as it was during Elijah's time. And so these are great discussion points to either save for that time as long as you know you're going to have it, or to try and work into the activity time. All right, so that is it for my 4th and 5th graders. If you are teaching large group, or if you just want to know what large group is going to look like this week, feel free to keep on watching. Otherwise, you are done. All right, and finally, my large group teachers. First up is our I have 3 copies of this. We're going to look at the one that's for the tech helper. Tech helper, you are most likely, so I would recommend large group teachers that you choose a tech helper out of your kindergarten and first grade teachers. So then that way they're already in the classroom, because they are going to be the one, I'll flip the page to show you. They are going to be the one that at 10:13 you need to start the video countdown. There's a slide that says video countdown. And so they need to start that then. So the 2-minute timer goes off then. So you're starting at exactly 10:15. So you've got your welcome, which is 8 minutes long, your Find It in the Bible, which is 2 minutes long, your Bible teaching for 10 minutes, your review for 8 minutes, and your wrap up for 5 minutes. So that's what this is going to look like. So your welcome is here. It is going to require doing 4 loaves of bread. So I will get that in here before Sunday. So you'll have that, showing the intro video and setting the he, we, and me questions. So whoever is teaching these first 2 parts and the last 2 parts, this is where you're going to start. And then you're going to do the Find It in the Bible part, which is where you talk about God's big story. Always draw their eyes up to the banner in the classroom where this is as well. And then talking about where today's story is in the Bible, and having them physically open their Bibles. They can do it independently. They can do it with the person sitting next to them. 1 Kings 17. The Bible is on the stage already open to 1 Kings 17. So you won't have to be looking for it. It'll already be open, and you can show the kids where it is. The adults that are not teaching can also walk around and help kids locate it, so that they can start looking over the story of Elijah. Then the other teacher who teaches the one big meatiest part of the lesson is going to start the Bible teaching. You always start with prayer, and you're telling the story of Elijah. So it is scripted. Feel free to follow the script. If you know it really, really well and you want to use your own words, please feel free to do that. I would love that. There is a dry erase board, which has a jar drawn on it with blue water drawn on it. It is not the best artwork you've ever seen because I did it, but you can see the script here for how to follow it. So if you're teaching this part of large group, make sure you look through this on the electronic copy so that you know how your lesson is going to go. There are 2 slides that are shown during the story, and it is marked on there for our tech helper. And then at the very end, you look at how this story points to Jesus. Every story in the Bible should help us to look at the coming of Jesus. So there's that. Then we're back to the other teacher who's going to guide us in a review. If for some reason you guys are running short on time, because you should be at 10:35 at this point. If you're running short on time and you need to cut, this is where you can start cutting. There are 2 parts here. You're going to show a video. You're going to ask these questions and have the kids participate. So if you're running short on time, cut one of those. You can either cut the video or you can cut the questions. Both are great. I would love it that if you had the time to do both. It's more important to get everyone out of here by 10:48 so they can be back to their classrooms at 10:50. So this would be a good place to cut if you need to do that. Then finally, on our last page for the wrap up, you're going to answer the he and the we questions. Those are on a slide. Talk about our monthly bright idea and go over the memory verse. Now this is very important. You're going to quickly have them repeat the memory verse to you and then immediately dismiss the 4th and 5th graders. They can leave and then you're going to do the song. So don't start that verse video until 4th and 5th grade has already been dismissed out of the room. You can start it as they're walking out so they can hear it as they're leaving, but we're trying to buy them some time to be able to get upstairs, and this is a great spot to do that. So after the song, pray over everyone, and then that is it. So I'm going to show the computer quickly. I don't have this week's slides up here yet. Oh, hi there. You can see me. Try to see if I can get this to come on. It might not want to come on for some reason. All right, we're not having any luck with getting it on right now, but the slides are always on here. You can physically click it, or there is a clicker to go with it. I'm going to get off here so you don't have to look at me. The slides for this week aren't up yet, so I'm not able to go through and move them around, and I'm actually out of town on Sunday. So I won't be here. So whoever's doing tech helper needs to look through this and make sure that they kind of know the order that they're clicking through before they start trying to do it with the kids in here. So, but that is it. Thank you guys so much for serving. We will see you on Sunday. And if you have any questions, again, I won't be here on Sunday, but please feel free to text me or call me anytime. You probably already have my phone number, but if you don't, look in Planning Center and you can find me under People. And please don't ever hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. I would love to be able to answer any questions you might have. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on Sunday.